Good morning, everyone. Welcome back into North Dakota today. Well, it is time to get excited for science. So our favorite professor, Dr. Graham from the Concordia Science Academy, and student Sema are joining us to do a little bit of an experiment. Excuse me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me. What are we getting into today?
All right, so I'd like to say, first of all, happy Robert Burns Day. They weren't expecting this one, but today is a big day in the Scottish calendar, so happy Robert Burns Day for everyone out there.
There we go.
So what we're going to do, this is one of our favourite experiments that we do with Concordia Science Academy, and it's all about getting people in the community excited about science, right, Sema?
Yes, of
All
course.
right, and Sema's one of my student helpers. She's currently, so tell us what you're studying at Concordia, Sema.
Yeah, so I'm a junior at Concordia studying biology and political science, and I'm been part of the Science Academy for a couple of years now. So yeah.
All right, so we're going to do an experiment using something called sodium alginate.
Okay.
Now, this sounds a bit suspicious, but at the same time, this is actually an entirely natural product. So we actually buy it from, it's extracted from seaweed. And you may or may not have encountered this in your daily life, but I'm not going to ruin the surprise quite yet. So what we're going to do, this is normally a powder. So it's a white powder. It's kind of a wee bit like flour, a wee bit like starch. And so we're going to try and change that using chemistry into something a little bit awesome. Last night in my laboratory at Concordia, I basically mixed some up into a batch and basically made this kind of gelatinous, gooey stuff.
Okay.
And that's going to be important later on. But for now, before we get there, we have to get our other reagents. So we're going to ask our wonderful host, would you mind holding a cup? But we're going to teach you how to hold it like a scientist. So what you're going to do is one hand on the side, one hand on the bottom.
Okay.
All right, and then you're going to be our scientific instrument. Sema is going to add this chemical. What's our chemical, Sema?
Calcium carbonate.
Calcium chloride, right?
Oh, chloride, sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so what we're going to do, and in case you're wondering, this is actually just road salt, so it's nothing dangerous. Sema's going to add a wee bit in, and we're going to wait, and something happens. It might explode, you never know. Or wait.
It feels very warm.
All right, and that's because there's energy trapped inside it, and when we dissolve it, the energy actually comes out. So what we're seeing, we have a term for this in science, which is exothermic, which actually means heat releasing. And this is just one of the brands of road salt that we use, and in a morning like today, when it's really slippy outside, there's probably people throwing this on the ground so they don't end up falling down. All right, Sema. Sema's done several classes with me at Concordia, so I think we're trained you in stirring. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stir that up and dissolve our calcium chloride. All right, while we're doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to get ready our sodium alginate. So our calcium chloride is being dissolved, and this is where we have to ask our host a very, very important scientific question. Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Okay, what color out of blue, red, or yellow would you like your experiment to be?
Ooh, I think red.
All right, red, here we go. So what we're going to have you do, we're going to have you take the red food color, and this is a solution of sodium alginate we made earlier on. It's a wee bit gooey, it's a wee bit runny. I'm going to ask you to add 5 drops into our sodium alginate.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And we can see here that it's basically not really dissolving very much, is it?
No.
And that's because the alginate's a wee bit thicker. So we're going to now trust you. You've seen Sema do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the chance to just stir it up with the syringe for us. That would be awesome.
Okay.
And then the next bit's a little bit messy, so we're going to have Sema help do this.
Perfect.
We're going to suck some up. Oh, you know what? Let's throw some more color. Let's make this really, really red.
Okay.
There's red and there's really, really red. So let's go for it.
How much?
No, what do you think? That look good? Yeah, you go. You're going to add a couple more just in case. Perfect. Okay. Sema, would you give it another quick stir and then suck some up? All right, now this is a liquid. We're able to suck it up into our syringe, and this is an experiment we often do in the community. So what we're also going to do to try and stop getting our hands covered in every color of the rainbow, Sema's going to wipe the outside off on that piece of paper towel. So it's a liquid. It's basically now a red liquid because we've obviously added red food color, which is a great thing because it's basically makes our experiments colorful, and that's a great way to engage kids when we're doing science, is basically get color and make it visual. Yeah. But what we're going to do, we're going to basically ask, let's give you the syringe.
Okay.
And we're going to see if this stuff is dangerous. So what we're going to have happen is we're going to have you basically squeeze 1 drop into the palm of Sema's hand.
You said it may be dangerous?
We'll find out. Science. You know, because we're doing this on television.
One drop, you said?
One drop.
All right.
There we go. And so, Seema, if you go like that, you'll see that it's kind of gooey, it's kind of a liquid, and it just rubs right in. It's maybe a wee bit sticky. But you know what? We actually eat this material, and I'll tell you why in a second. But now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our drop, and we're going to do our one drop into the cup. But this is very, very important. There's one rule in science here this morning. And under no circumstances should you touch the tip of your syringe to the liquid. So I want you to splash one drop in from above.
Okay. Is this one going to explode?
We'll find out. All right, and so what happens when we do that is we get a little droplet. And Seema, if you would like to grab a spoon and then fish it out and just hold your spoon so the camera can see it, what we've actually made, and tilt your spoon down a wee bit, Seema, what we've actually made is a little ball, a little bead right there. And I can actually pick that up and we can actually see the little bead. And so what we've got here, of course, it gets stuck between my fingers because, of course, but what we can see, and you're welcome to touch it.
Okay.
Is that not kind of cool?
Yeah.
And this process is what we call spherification. So what we're doing here is our alginate is basically a long, stringy molecule. We're going to use a science word here and say polymer. And so what's happening is we have to imagine our alginate strands are just like these different beads, but we're adding calcium to it. And when we add our calcium to it, something happens. So Seema has in her pocket an example of what happens when we add the calcium, and the beads actually come together and stick together. So what we're actually doing is we're causing them to stick together.
Okay.
But, of course, we want it to be more visual than that. So what I want you to do, are you ready for this? You feel you're trained?
I think so.
I want you to squirt the whole syringe into that cup in one big go.
Okay.
Go for it. And so what Seema's going to do is Seema is going to reach in and see what we have made here. And so let it dangle down as well, Seema. So basically grab a wee bit and pull it up and show us the worms.
Wow.
And what we're able to actually do here is we're able to make worms with this alginate. So what we're doing is we're making, to use a technical term, a cross-linked polymer. But this is basically the calcium causes it to stick together and make this gelatinous material. And in case you're wondering, and I said you've eaten this stuff before, if you've ever been at any of the yogurt places and you've had the little balls that are filled with juice, the ones with the juice in the center, not tapioca, but the ones that have the juice in the center.
The bobas?
The boba.
Okay.
The boba. This is how they actually make some of these. Some of them are tapioca, but some of them are actually made with alginate. And I've been led to believe there's also grown-up drinks they do this way.
Okay.
You know, perhaps the occasional shot. But this is just an example of using some, naturally occurring materials and doing science for kids that's visual, that's engaging, that's safe, and it's really, to be honest, it's fun as well. And that's a big, big part of our science outreach.
Well, I certainly had fun. Oh my goodness. Thank you both so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And then how can folks at home find out more information about the Science Academy?
All right. We are Concordia Science Academy. And so we'll have, obviously, I think we're posting this as a video. We'll put our links below that. ConcordiaScienceAcademy.com. And I'm Dr. Graham, also going by Professor Wiley now and again. It should be easy enough to find my address if you search Concordia Science Academy. Reach out through our social media, through Facebook, through Instagram. And what we are basically an organisation, faculty and students at Concordia College who are excited about science and want to share that love of science with the community. So if you're out there in the community and you're looking to basically maybe work with us, contact me, let me know, sort of thing. We do school visits. We're going to be doing an event at the Fargo Public Library in Saturday, the 17th of February. A lot of the science outreach people in the community are going to be there. We'll be there as well, sort of thing. So don't miss out and stop by and do science with us. It's all about getting kids excited about science and sharing our passion for science. Right, Seema?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both again. All right, everyone, stick around. We have more North Dakota Today after the break.